excited to announce our 2019 signing class. Today we signed 40 scholarship athletes to letters of intent this morning, February 6th, and have an additional 5 or 6 preferred walk-ons that will be added to our program as well. And really, you know, we always are going to start with our home base, and really with South Dakota, Minnesota, and North Dakota. That makes up about over 3/4 of our signing class. And so that's obviously a huge part of what we do, is recruit the best area talent we can, including 18 guys from South Dakota. And then we were able to spread our wings a little bit and still get into some outer areas as well, a little bit more into Wisconsin than we have in the past. Signed a couple of guys from Florida, 3 guys from Arizona, a couple Wyoming guys are in the program now. So we're hitting our normal areas and doing a good job, I feel, in our main recruiting areas, but then also getting out and spreading our wings and trying some different places. 60% of our signees received academic scholarships here at Northern State. So again, that goes with the academic success that we've had here. We had our best semester on record this fall as a team, our team GPA, and had almost 3/4 of our team had a 3.0 GPA or higher. So again, that's part of our thing. And this whole process is, let's find guys that are serious about getting their degrees and want to be good football players and play at a high level. And clearly all the exciting things happening on campus with the new residence halls, with the new regional science center, the practice facility, which we started and we moved into on August 1st, and then, you know, Dakota Bank Stadium, which will open up in a couple of years. Just a ton of exciting things going on around campus, and that was a huge part of it, and really an exciting time to be at Northern. And we found that out in the recruiting process. Ended up probably signing 5 or 6 more guys than we thought we would, just because we had a lot of guys tell us yes, especially down the stretch. So we had a good start. We had 21 guys committed before Christmas, and then we closed really well. I think we signed or get about 10 commitments the last week, 10 days. So really, overall, just we feel a good class. Gonna have 10 offensive linemen in this year's signing class, and again, that was a huge part of our emphasis this year. We just need to keep getting more depth there. We didn't feel like we were deep enough on the offensive line, and need to get more depth and competition there. I'm gonna end up signing about 7 or 8 defensive backs, so you're looking at 17, 18 guys in the secondary and on the offensive lines. Certainly two areas where we think we needed to improve our depth and improve our competition, and got there. And then after that, just a very well balanced recruiting class. You know, offense, defense, everything. So we may sign a guy or two, a transfer or 2 here before it's all said and done, before the summer's over. But for right now, this will be our class, and we're excited about the guys that decided to join our program. So really, to review our class in alphabetical order, starting with offensive lineman Mason Amato from Sioux Falls Roosevelt High School. Mason's a big physical lineman, played for Kim Nelson in one of the better programs in the state of South Dakota. He's really been a guy that we had up here a couple times this summer. He's been up for some games. Somebody we've been recruiting a long time. Matt Rakowski really started recruiting him a long time ago, and we really feel Mason's physicality, his size, really will be a huge addition to our offensive line. BERTRAM, a linebacker, outside linebacker, defensive end from Cologne, South Dakota. Played in a state championship team there. Again, a long, rangy, athletic guy. You look at guys that we think have big frames that can add a lot of weight. We think Bo really is one of those guys. Made a lot of plays, played on a very good high school football team, won the state championship, that really only had about 1 close game this year. And you know, we think Bo's upside as a multi-sport athlete is phenomenal. Nick Beaver is a running back, defensive back from Del Rapids, South Dakota, which we've had success in the past. We signed 2 Del Rapids guys this year. First the Barbers, Channing and Zachary Barber, and Hunter Hanson. So it's been a good area for us. Nick, really a multi-dimensional guy, gained a lot of yards. I like his burst, his explosiveness, running the ball, and really an aggressive, physical guy for somebody who's not real big, but he plays real physical and he plays big. So we think Nick will start out at the running back position, but he can certainly do a lot of different things. Isaiah Sherrier is a transfer, really the only mid-year transfer we have who is here. He comes from Western Illinois University, originally from the Twin Cities, Mount Westonka High School, and he's running back. And again, that's an area we felt was of immediate need for us. We didn't run the ball like we wanted to this past year, and Isaiah was a guy that we identified as a potential transfer, and he was Came here in the middle of December for his visit and loved it, and we had a good fellow with a good fit. So Isaiah's here enrolled in school, working out with our team already, and we expect him to compete for immediate playing time. KOFFI BEKLE is a defensive lineman, an interesting guy. He's from Minneapolis, Kennedy. Interesting in the fact that he only played 2 years of high school football. Really a big, long, athletic guy, and we really feel his upside is really phenomenal for a guy that's still relatively new to the game, but real disruptive and physical on defense. And when you did see him play on offense, he really got after it and really plays with an edge. So we think he can. He's going to start out as a defensive lineman, but he's certainly talented enough to play a number of different spots, and we really like the physicality that he brings to the defensive line position. GAGE GEHRING is from Pierre High School, Pierre, South Dakota, TF Riggs High School. GAGE is a linebacker, another guy we identified early. GAGE was up here a couple times this summer, played on a real good high school team. Team won the state championship for Coach Steele down there, and he's a wrestler, again, multi-sport guy, really a good open field tackler, physical guy, and you see him do a lot of different things on both sides of the ball as well. Nick GERLACH is a tight end from St. Francis High School in Minnesota. His brother Chris is on our team, also the hometown of Hunter Troutman, been our starting quarterback the last year and a half. Another multi-sport guy. Nick's an outstanding wrestler at St. Francis, a big physical dude who wasn't used a lot in the passing game, mostly because of the offense the team ran, but when he was used, he was really effective. But just like his physicality as a blocker in the run game, and again, the athletic things he does as a football player and a wrestler, we think are going to transfer over to the field pretty well. Clifford GEYER is from San Antonio, Texas, but he does have a lot of family in the area. His mother, Becky, was an athlete here years ago at Northern State, and Clifford has family here in town in Aberdeen, has a lot of family in DeSmet, South Dakota, so he's a guy from Texas, but he's certainly got a lot of local knowledge and a good local feel. But again, at Clark High School in San Antonio, a good level of football, and he played at a high level. And played against really good competition. You can really see him getting bigger, even from when we initially met him to now. You know, his size continues to grow. We think he's got a great frame and a great future. KRESEAN GREER is from De La Salle High School in Minneapolis. Defensive back, is really a ball hawk as far as interceptions, ball disruptions, good open field tackler, and really a disruptive guy. Again, one of those guys that we feel we needed some depth at defensive back, and we like what KRESEAN did, playing against a good level of competition at De La Salle. Logan GROSSINGER from Buffalo, Minnesota, played on a really good high school team, played a number of different positions. We're projecting him to be on the defensive side of the ball for us. Really like his style of play, real aggressive, real physical, plays hard all the time. Just you see him around the ball a lot, a real disruptive force on defense. We do project him as a defensive lineman at the college level, but we're just really impressed with how he played physical and how active he was as a player, and expect that to continue at the next level. Max HANSON is from East Troy, Wisconsin. He's an offensive lineman. He's a power lifter as well. He's 6'4", 300-pound guy. Played mostly defensive line in high school. We project him as an offensive lineman with his size, and a late guy. He was just in at the end here, recruiting, and really felt like we were lucky to get Max late in the recruiting process with his size and with his size potential, and a real strong guy. Like I said, he's a powerlifting team member and doing some good things there. Zach Hansen is a wide receiver, kind of a slash tight end from Sioux Falls Lincoln High School. Another guy, Zach, was identified early in the process. Again, Coach Matt Rakowski did a fantastic job with a number of these Sioux Falls guys, and then Coach Austin Flieger really closed it out. But Zach, again, a long, athletic guy, makes plays, and again, a huge upside playing that inside wide receiver spot or playing him on the edge as well. Anthony Harris is an offensive lineman. He is from De La Salle High School as well in Minneapolis. Another guy we identified early. Anthony was up here probably 4 or 5 times throughout the spring and summer and fall. Really felt comfortable with he and his family. Coach Hendrickson did a great job there, and Anthony was one of our early commits, and really a huge upside in terms of what he can give us physically and the way he plays with an edge. Latham Hodges is an offensive lineman from Gillette, Wyoming, Thunder Basin High School. And Latham, big long guy, 6'3", 250. Size potential we think is very, very good with him, and he plays with an edge. He's got good feet and plays physical. Again, you're going to hear me say the word offensive lineman quite a bit, and Latham's a guy we got in on a little bit later in the process, but the more time we spent with him, the more comfortable we felt with him here. We're excited to have Latham in our football family. Taylor Hoyer is a defensive lineman from Oldham, South Dakota. He is a long, athletic guy. Again, he played a lot of different positions, played a lot of football over the last few years. In high school, we were projecting him as a defensive lineman, long, tall playmaker. Really had some phenomenal stats his last couple of years as far as sacks and tackles for loss, and really fits in well to the defensive line position with his size, and again, being a guy that maybe hasn't spent a ton of time in the weight room because he's in a lot of athletics. We think his upside is phenomenal. Caden Johnson, offensive lineman from Aberdeen Central right here in town. Another guy we identified early in the process. Caden was a guy played real physical for Coach Mitch Kranz at Aberdeen Central. Multi-sport guy, again, a standout wrestler at Aberdeen Central, really a physical player. You can just tell he loves the weight room and he loves playing physical, really plays with an edge. And an early commit, and we think an in-town guy who's really going to have a lot of ownership in our program. Another in-town player, Jaden Karst from Roncalli High School. Jaden was a 4-year player for Coach Dosch, Terry Dosch, and then Coach Young the last couple years. Played running back, played linebacker. We project Jaden as a linebacker at the college level. Again, another multi-sport guy, excellent discus thrower, and really an active player. Did a lot of things and did a lot of things well at Roncalli, and fits in well to the linebacker position. Trey King is a name that's somewhat familiar to Northern State people. His brother Gabe King is on the basketball team, but that's not why we recruited Trey. We recruited Trey because of how outstanding a player he is. Just really crazy, phenomenal, tremendous stats as a high school player. Played quarterback in high school at Irene, Wakanda. Projecting Trey to play wide receiver. Again, he was an early commitment for us as well. His familiarity with our campus and everything going on here made him a natural fit here, but really one of the most dynamic players in the state of South Dakota. Probably the most productive, if not one of the most productive guys, and again, just a competitive greatness type of guy. When the chips are on the line, Trey's making plays in all the sports he plays in, and excited to have him in our program. Nate Kneebone is a outside linebacker from Flandreau, South Dakota. Hasn't played a ton of football in his life. Relatively new, and I think he battled some injuries at some point in time. So we like his length, we like his athleticism. For a big guy, he plays low and he sticks his nose in there, and played a lot of different spots at Flandreau. We think he'll be a good fit at the outside linebacker. SHEMAR Lawson is from Brooksville, Florida. He's a defensive back, projected him to play corner. Again, played against a good level of competition. Very productive player, playing offense and defense, and you get to see him compete against a lot of really good players in Florida and compete at a high level. So he was a guy that we got in on a little bit later with Coach Flieger joining the staff late, but Coach did a good job with him, and SHEMAR was fired up to be here and a good fit here in our program. So we project him to play corner at the college level. Will Madler is a quarterback from Bismarck High School in Bismarck, North Dakota, quarterback of the state champion AAA Bismarck Demons, was also the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of North Dakota. Another guy that he was down here a couple times last spring, was here for our camp. Really got to know he and his family really well. Just a winner, and he's got the stuff that you look for in a quarterback, whatever he plays. Position he plays, he really competes and is a competitive greatness kind of guy. So, not a huge guy, but really throws the ball, has a really extremely strong arm for any quarterback, much less one his size. But he's also got good feet and can be a good dual threat quarterback for us. So, just love his competitiveness, love the intangibles that Will brings. Kendrick Maynard Jr. is a defensive back from St. Petersburg, Florida, Calvary Christian High School. Another player that Coach Flieger got in on late, but we really liked his productivity, really liked his explosiveness and pop that he had, and really played with an edge on defense, and again, played both ways. Really a snappy player, I guess we describe him, and did a lot of explosive things, get around the ball a lot. So we certainly think he'll have a chance to compete for playing time early in his career. Luke Moberg is a defensive back from St. Paul Johnson High School in St. Paul, Minnesota. Luke's a defensive back, one of the leaders, if not the leader in the state of Minnesota. Ended up, I believe, with 9 interceptions in the regular season and postseason. And, you know, again, another athlete playing hockey as well, athlete in the spring, I think baseball. And Luke, the coach's son, so he's been around the game his whole life. Very good football IQ and a playmaker at St. Paul Johnson. Devonte Murphy, Sioux Falls Roosevelt High School, defensive lineman. Devonte, another guy that was up for our camp, came up a couple times during the spring and summer, and was really a disruptive force on defense, physical player, and did a lot of things well. Really a captain of a big high school in Sioux Falls, was a captain of the team, and really he's got some great leadership qualities about him in addition to being a good player. Sam Muston is a linebacker from Baltic High School, just north of Sioux Falls. Another guy that really I liked his just all the things he did for his team, and that's certainly an advantage when you recruit guys from smaller towns. You get to see him do a lot of different things, and Sam was real dynamic. Did a bunch of different things for Baltic, and was a real productive player for them. Like his demeanor, like his football IQ. Isaac Olson was our first commit of the 2019 class. So obviously somebody we identified a long time ago. He's from Fargo Oak Grove High School. Defensive back, good length. A lot of interceptions, ball disruptions, you know, did a lot of things for his team, but we really like what he did in terms of productivity and length and just the plays that he made for Fargo Oak Grove High School. Nick Olson, Aberdeen Central offensive lineman, is a state champion discus thrower. So again, we're going back to the multi-sport guys, and Nick's a guy we identified early, played again for Coach Kranz at Aberdeen Central. Really physical, good frame, really good lower body, good footwork, that he can really be we think he's going to be able to be a big, strong physical lineman in our league. And again, you see him do things like throw the discus, and you see the athleticism that he shows you there. So big upside with him. Will Perry. Will is an offensive lineman from Gilbert, Arizona. Went to Castile High School, which is a new high school. He's in the first graduating class actually at Castile. So when he was a junior, Will's team won the state championship without a senior in their building. It was all juniors and sophomores. And really, so really a good football program. He's played with and against a lot of Division I and Division II players. So the level of competition extremely high. Will excelled there. Played center in high school, and we expect him to start out at center with us, but he can play a number of different spots. And he's also again just a kind of a gym rat, kind of a weight room guy, and you can just tell he's been around the sport. And his dad is a longtime coach, so he's got it in his blood. And Will's loves the game of football, loves playing. Eddie Price, linebacker from Del Rapids, South Dakota. We mentioned Nick Beaver before, and Eddie Price, again, one of our early commits in the process. Athletic, did a bunch of good things for his team. Another multi-sport athlete, long, athletic, 6'3", 215-pound guy. We think he's got a big frame, can really grow into that with Coach Fritz and his staff, and again, a real dynamic guy. Made a bunch of plays, really played with an edge. Caleb Schenzel is a wide receiver from Northwestern High School in Millette. Caleb's from Northville, all right, if you're wondering which suburb he is a member of. He's from Northville, again, a long athletic receiver, 6'4", 190-pound guy. Made a lot of plays on the ball, good basketball player for Northwestern. They've got a good team this year as well. And Caleb's a guy that's been going to Wolves football games most of his life and really wanted to be here, and we feel he's got a good future, good upside, a good frame. Jacob Schlow is an offensive lineman with a big frame. Jacob's 6'7", 275 pounds, and with all sorts of room to grow. So we think Jacob's going to be able to carry around a lot of weight real easily and comfortably in his frame. Again, a basketball player, a big frame guy, good feet, really a huge upside with a guy that size, and from Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. And like his athleticism, like his size, like the way he plays, very smart guy. He's a 4.0. 30 ACT, I believe. I talked about the academic success of a lot of these guys. Jacob's an extremely great student, interested in going into the medical science field. Clay Schmitz is a wide receiver and also played defensive back at Gilbert High School, Perry High School, I should say, in Gilbert, Arizona. One of the best programs in the state. They've been state runner-up for the last 2 years in the biggest class in Arizona. Just a dynamic playmaker at Perry High School. Made a bunch of plays on defense. We're probably going to start out Clay on the offensive side of the ball, but we sure like the versatility he gives us as an offensive player and defensive player. Really dynamic, again, good competition, a lot of Division I and Division II players that he played against and with, and very competitive, another great student as well, and like his upside as a football player. Justin SEDIN is from Poplar, Wisconsin, offensive lineman, 6'3", 245 pounds. So again, a huge frame guy. We think can gain a lot of weight and put a lot of good weight on with a big frame. Played both ways, played on the offensive and defensive line. So he did a lot of good things. He's a baseball player as well. Again, another really good athlete who's done a lot of good things as a baseball player and football player. But we think his athleticism, his upside as an offensive lineman is extremely good. Speaking of offensive lineman, Brandon Steinhauer from West Fargo High School, West Fargo, North Dakota, one of the most successful programs in the state of North Dakota. And Brandon's been a 2-year starter, played in the 2017 state championship team, and again, another really intelligent guy, very good in the classroom, good feet, good framework, really one of the better technicians you see coming out of high school, but he's a big enough frame guy that he can carry around 290 pounds pretty easily. Cole Siegfried is a tight end from Brandon Valley High School. Played for Coach Chad Garrow down there at Brandon Valley. State championship team. Mike Zur, Northern State alum, called the play, so Mike will take a lot of credit for what Cole did, but aggressive physical blocker, and then also a good weapon in tight end. And again, another guy, I've mentioned several of these guys played on state championship teams or teams that played in state championship games, and we're trying to find winners, and Cole's one of those guys. Loves the outdoors, hunting and fishing, fits in extremely well up here at Aberdeen, and comes from a very good program. Kellen Simmons is from Perry High School, also in Chandler, Arizona. Kellen is a defensive back, a long athletic guy like Coach Preston Jones there, been a very successful coach ever since that school opened several years ago, and played in 2 state championship games. A long athletic guy that we look for at the safety position. A lot of length, a lot of ball disruption, a lot of ball hawking type skills, and again covered and played against extremely good competition in Arizona, and we think he transitions well to the college game, again having a chance to be an impact guy early in his career. Dalen Simon is running back from Warner, South Dakota, right down the road here. Real productive athlete, football, basketball, track. A standout in all 3 of those. Dalen's a bunch of yards for Coach Hayline at Warner High School, but did a lot of things. And again, a great example of you put your best athlete in running back and let him run around. And Dalen made all sorts of plays at Warner, played on their state runner-up team as a junior, and then was a standout here as a senior for them, and a huge upside in what we think he can do with his frame. Justin Strite is a wide receiver from Eden Valley Watkins in Minnesota, younger brother of Jacob Strite, who's a all-conference, all-American player for us, but Justin's really his own guy, and we saw a lot of good things out of Justin early, identified him early in the process as a top guy. Clearly we have an idea what we're getting work ethic-wise and what kind of guy he is. Just extremely hard-working guy who grew up on a farm and lives on a farm and works extremely hard, and but a dynamic player, good hands, natural hand catcher, will fit in well in our offense. Jacob Vetter, a 6'4", 200-pound quarterback from Hawley, Minnesota. We did sign 2 quarterbacks in this year's class. That was our plan. Jacob suffered a knee injury at the end of his junior year, so he didn't play basketball or track at all as a junior. Came back and was a standout for Hawley, a winner. We talk about that's what we want our quarterbacks to be, our winners. And Jacob played on just a bunch of good teams, playing on a real good basketball team right now as well. Coming off knee surgery. Big arm, a good athlete, and really for a guy his size, both of his parents were high school or were college athletes as well, so comes from a great family, but like his upside, like his arm strength and his mobility for a guy his size. And then finally, Lyndon Williams from Huron, South Dakota. Lyndon, defensive back, played at Wolsey Wessington High School and did a lot of different things for Wolsey Wessington as a quarterback, as a defensive player. Had a great career there, and again, one of the things we look for, guys that play quarterback and running back in high school, make a lot of plays, and we can transfer those guys over to different positions in college. We are expecting Lyndon to be a safety for us and a defensive back. So that's our class. Again, exciting, a lot of guys, and just a really exciting time to be at Northern, an exciting group to announce as our 2019 signing class for Wolves football.